I would never, ever judge anyone, because I know that for a fact, as much as I try to help people, as much as I try to be the best that I can, there are people right now, yo, fuck Angel. I'm like, oh shit, okay, you know,
right.
But it's only because I stand for what I believe in.
Yep.
You know, and I think you're probably the same, exactly the same, where, you know, you run your business the way you want to. There's certain rules that you know why you implemented them.
Yep.
You know, if they're not followed or someone doesn't follow my rules, then go kick rocks.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bend the rule for you, and yet for this one, no, it has to be fucking fair. So
I wish, and I hope in the future, I wish people could really see our hearts and how much we love people. Like, I'm such a lover of people. Everything that I'm doing is trying to make these people better.
Yeah.
And yes, that means, see, there's this disconnect that being hard on people is like mean or not loving them.
Yeah.
Actually, to me, it's the opposite. And I like look at my dad. Like, my dad was on my ass.
I was just gonna
white
say
on right.
Yeah.
Like he woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, put me in front of his car, made me run, lift weights, made us do chores, all this stuff. He's my best friend. Like, I love that man. He's made me who I am today.
Yeah.
If these 20-year-old kids, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, whatever it is that we're nurturing, we're pouring into, if they could just know that we're just trying to make them better. So me holding you accountable, you showing up late and me getting on your ass and being like, I'm not gonna put up with that.
Yeah.
How you treat our members, cleaning, all these things that we're required to do, it's out of love. It's out of, we're trying to make you a better person so that you can make more money. That's another thing too, right?
I love it.
Like,
I love it, yeah.
If I'm holding you accountable at a higher standard, you're gonna make more money.
Yes. You know, my parents, my mom actually was the one, the heavy-handed, you know, little 5'4", 9", 4'11", whatever, however tall she is, you know, but she was the one that laid the law. And I can, you know, not until probably my mid-20s that I realized, you know, I appreciate you so fucking much for the way you handled me, because I could have been, you know, and obviously I take a different approach. I don't have any kids necessarily, but I have my team. Yeah. And I don't want to say they're my children, but I'm their leader and I want them to learn how to lead. So I'm implementing these rules in this way of being, because like you said, it's not for, the facility benefits. This is for your own fucking benefit. You're only going to get better at what you do and who you are as a person. You take this, you go somewhere else, you become more valuable as a human being.
Exactly. Man, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah,
so
brother.
It was interesting when I had Amber reach out to you. You know, sometimes you get in this Miami competitive market, you get people that look at it from a sense, oh, I'm not going there, you know, that's a competitor or whatever. And I've always been one, especially the more I've been doing this in Miami, that I think that we have to have the respect that we're all essentially doing the same thing. And what I mean by that is, we are in the fitness we are serving people in the fitness community. Service. And not, when you walk into a gym, you know if that's your vibe, that's your home or not. Like and honestly, I can't tell you whether or not you're gonna love my gym or vice versa, whatever. So I think there's enough people obviously to go around, and we've proven that because you've been over a decade, I've been over a decade. We're obviously doing something right. And I think we're appealing to maybe a little bit of different demographic.
Absolutely.
But one of the things I noticed already is I went, you know, I stalked you a little bit on your Instagram and the things you say are extremely similar to what we say. Yeah. But it's about finding your tribe, finding your community that kind of gets where you are. So anyways, I want to start with a little bit about where you started. And I would love, because I honestly, you know, I don't know how you started. So let's take it back. And if you can kind of share with me just how you got into this and how you started.
No, so first of all, thank you for the invite. And I'll quickly say when I saw the DM, I was like, holy shit. And obviously I know who you are. I heard of you, and I've seen the pit, so I'm like, oh shit. So I read through it, and my immediate thought was absolutely, and to what you said, that's one. I'm from New York. I've been here for 10 years. I'll get into that. But when I got here, I felt like there was a lot of segregation. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. I'm in a melting pot in New York. I come from a different type of culture where we can all eat. There's enough out there. And in New York, I was around a lot of hungry motherfuckers. So you had to be on top of your game. So fast forward, when I saw that, I could know exactly what you mean, because other people would have taken it like, oh, I don't know if I want to. No, fuck that. Absolutely. I would love to fucking pick his brain, because I think that, we're in the same industry, but we have two different souls. We have two different cultures. And exactly what you said, where some people can walk into my gym or any Elev8tion and be like, yo, this is not for me. You know what? I'll pick their brain. I want some feedback. What is it not cool? And if I'll try to keep your membership, but if not, yo, I'm going to the gym across the street. Fuck, that's dope. I would never in my life feel like, man, now what are they doing? No, bro. I'm gonna continue doing what I do. I'm gonna focus on me, and whatever. While everyone else is focused, whatever the fuck we're doing,
Right, exactly.
But to answer your question, fitness, I went there. I always mention this. I went through a really rough breakup when I was like 19 years old. I almost didn't graduate high school because I skipped every gym class. I never worked out, and had this rough breakup. 18, 19 years old. My boy dragged me into the gym, got my first gym membership, and that's it. I got obsessed with working out. Next thing you know, 5 years into it, I'm like trying to figure out how to compete, trying to figure out doing these natural body building type of events. And I said, you know what? I left. I had a real estate background. I was in retail banking as well. I want to leave all this shit behind, and I want to pursue something that I love. Yep. And I got into personal training. So I started working with Equinox in New York City, and then eventually started working for Reebok Sports Club, which eventually Equinox bought the sports club LA's throughout. Right. And in 2013, I moved my ass to Miami, and I started working for David Barton Gym. And within a month of me being here in Miami, I noticed I couldn't find a gym like I used to have in New York. Right. And the way that people conducted themselves here, not just just in general, and their work ethic was trash. It was on the floor. So I'm like, what is going on? How is Miami even surviving when you have people that don't work? And I'm not saying this across the board, but compared to the environment where I was at, where I just mentioned, dog eat dog world.
No, I mean, I have to tell you on that. When I came to Miami, that really stood out to me, and I said to somebody, I said, you know what the difference is in like me and like being successful? I know for a fact that I'm gonna outwork everybody because of the culture that Miami was. It's just such a. And again, we're not talking bad, because there's certainly you're an individual that's not like that. Yeah, I am. There's certainly outliers, right? Yes. But it is a culture more like an island kind of vibe, like laid back. If it comes, it happens. And you're coming from New York. Yeah. Ironically, even though I'm from Alabama still had that gritty, hard work. And then I came from the football culture. So, we didn't know anything but waking up early, staying up and driving. So anyways, I just had to say that because I 100% agree with you. It almost made you like, oh, I can win in this city. Oh my God. You know what I mean? It made you kind of encourage you.
So when I meet my first month at this gym, I was in sales. I hit my sales goals, and I'm not saying it was a walk in the park, but out of everyone that's from Miami, I'm like, I'm from another fucking state, and I'm really hitting my sales goals. I'm the one networking, right? Building relationships.
Which David Barton was it, by the way?
The one on the beach. That was at the Gansevoort. The beautiful 35,000 square foot facility. And after that, a lot of shit happened. But then I had an opportunity, which I'm sure you've heard of this gym. In 2015, someone approached me. Someone who was a buddy of mine had an online business selling pharmaceuticals. So he decided to open up a gym. And I've known him from New York. This guy has he's a fan of bodybuilding. He says, Angel, I'm going to open up a Iron Addicts gym here in Miami. I was like, what the fuck is Iron Addicts? Yeah. And CT Fletcher, he just dropped his documentary on Netflix. I saw it. I really adapted the Iron Addicts brand. And I remember telling him, listen, I've been in Miami long enough to know that this type of really hardcore environment will not work here. So fast forward, I not only built it, but I managed it. I built that gym from A to Z, and with his pocket. I was just the manager, and he received all the clout. He received, and there was someone else involved as well. They received all the credit for it. I was behind the scenes always,
Yeah.
But I did that for about 8 months until February of 2017. I got a call from the gym, 5 a.m. I had just moved across the street at the filling station, and they're like, Angel, Dea is here. And I'm like, Dea? Who the fuck is Dea? I just woke up. And I'm like, DEA, what the fuck? So I open my window, and all I see is a SWAT team. I see everything happening going down.
By the way, I 100% remember that.
Yeah.
I was right down the street. So
exactly.
y'all made a lot of noise that day. The whole city of Miami was talking about that.
I'm like, holy shit. And I remember calling my dad, and I told my dad, I have 2 dogs. Come get the dogs, because I think I'm gonna get arrested. And my dad was like, what the fuck did you do? I'm like, I didn't do shit. Everyone was just aware. Everyone in the building was aware of what was going on. So finally he comes over, he gets the dogs, and I go downstairs. They open the door. DEA guy, remember, I had a mustache, goatee. He goes, Angel. I'm like, yes. He goes, we've been waiting for you. And I'm like, holy shit. So he goes, he grabs me by the shoulder. He's like, don't worry about it. This has been a 4-year investigation, which has got a few questions. We know absolutely everything. So I was like, fuck. Sat me down, questioned me, and I couldn't believe the amount of information. They had infiltrated people in members in there. Mm-hmm. So that happened, and now I don't have a job. I don't have a gym. Members are like, they're, Angel, what's gonna happen? I paid in full special. Right. Angel, my membership. Angel, I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? So at that time, I was like, I'm gonna go back to work for Equinox. I'm gonna go back to work for someone. And a buddy of mine was the one that convinced me and helped me put together Excels, as far as, because I know my numbers, as you know. And within a week, I had several investors willing just to give me some cash and do something anywhere. So for me, I was like, holy shit, I'm onto something. Elev8tion was just a thought. It was just like a drawing on a fucking little piece of paper. And next thing you know, a month later, I'm signing a lease across the street. And 3 months later, I'm opening up Elev8tion Fitness. Again, it wasn't my dream to like, oh shit, it was, people ask me all the time, sure, was it your dream to own your own gym? It wasn't. Yeah. But by necessity, I was forced to do it. And I'm sure we share this personality. We're go-getters. We're doing something now, and then it's like, all right, what can I do to better this experience? How can I elevate this, product, this service? Right. Oh, Angel, I would love to have a gym in this location. You start traveling, you start seeing different gyms, you start seeing what's missing in the market. Mm-hmm. I know you have several 5-6 locations. Yeah. You start realizing that people want this. Right. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I gotta figure this out. So you start learning, and fast forward, here we are today having this conversation. We're both building amazing
story.
Gyms.
Amazing story. I love it. Yeah. So today you have how many locations?
Currently have 5. I would have 6, but we recently sold the one on the beach. That used to be an old Crunch.
I remember that one.
The owners, they got a good amount of cash. We got bought out of that lease. They're going to build some sort of mall there.
Oh yeah.
So right now we have 5. Building out one in Midtown, because I'm going to relocate the one here in downtown. And I got a couple of offers, LOIs out right now, and trying to see if I hit a few other markets.
Amazing.
Yeah, man.
Amazing. So all right. So now take me to, you picked a name. All right. And what I love is just the process of like, did you know what the logo is going to look like? Did you know what did you have a a mission statement? Like when did you put it all together where it's like, all right, this is the direction I want to go. You know what I mean? Cause like when I started early on, I had kind of like the 3 pillars that I wanted. So one of my favorite books was Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, and it's the Nike story. So for me, I really I loved Nike, and I just loved everything they did. And so it was a nice example of like, hey, you kind of need a name, and that's where legacy came in. You kind of need a motto, and that's where No Days Off came in. And then you need a badge, like something that people can when they see the dog, they're like, oh, that's No Days Off, that's legacy. And so those are kind of like my 3 things. Was there anything, because I do think, number one, I think Elev8tion's a great name, by the way. And I think you can play off that, just like you said, when you said elevate, that's such a great term, right? Because we all should be elevating constantly. So talk a little bit about just that.
Before I answer that, the pit bull, was that your dog?
It was, yeah. So the original logo was my very first pit bull named Artemis. So it's actually a female dog, believe it or not. And she was the Greek. Artemis stands for the Greek goddess of hunt, and she was like an amazing dog, 65-pound chocolate. with white on her chest. And she actually passed away 3 months after I opened my first gym.
Oh shit.
And then ironically, my one of my best friends at the time found the same bloodline as her and brought the dog down to me. He was 10 weeks old and we named him Legacy. So then the second dog that like kind of represents the logo, his name was Legacy. And he recently passed. So
sorry about that.
No, I know. It's the first time in my life I've never owned a dog. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But I have kids now, so they're a little priority. So I think eventually, obviously, I'm gonna have a bunch more. But right now, it's like the kids are enough. So
congrats on that.
Thank you.
But I wish I had a better story with Elev8tion in the name. But I do have one. So when that happened, prior to the whole Iron Addicts hitting the fan, Muscular Development, the magazine, they actually wrote, they were about to publish an article on me, Iron Addicts. They had pictures and they called me up like, Angel, we can't drop this article anymore. And I'm like, yeah, it's all good, whatever. Then I did something on social media where I'm like, listen, I'm going to do something. They didn't necessarily say I was going to open up a gym, but I'll figure something out. People just, the word started getting out. Angel's going to open up a gym. The guy hits me back up. Yo, you opening up a gym? I'm like, I think I'm going to, that's the route that I'm going.
Yeah.
Do you have a name? And I had Elev8tion and I'm like, yeah, it could be Elev8tion, with an A, whatever. Do you have a logo? I was like, no, I don't have shit, bro. He goes, all right, I'm going to send you a list of questions. I'm going to rewrite the article. And what I'm going to do is talk about your new gym, use the existing pictures from Iron Addicts, change the color code, the color scheme. And I hope you have a gym in 2 to 3 months.
No way.
So
that's such a cool story.
It's crazy. So he created a logo. But while doing that, I had another buddy of mine work on a real logo. And the name Elev8tion, I'll be completely, obviously at that time there was this club 11.
Yeah.
Obviously we all know 11. I love the play with words and with number. That's something that I always say. Everyone had the 11 hats and it just stuck out. And I love that play with it. So when I wanted to not recreate it, but do something where I have the name and number. And if you look at the logo, if you look at the name Elev8tion, you have the 8, there's a balance there, 4 letters, very symmetrical. 4 letters on one side, 4 letters on the other side. And when I had the designer create it, he created the 8 where you have 2 octagons stacked on top of each other, and then it rises, elevates over the other letters. And then 8 itself, if you look at numerology, it just stands about, pretty much rising above things, prosperity, success. So it just made sense, And it's
actually a better story than you give yourself credit for. It actually, it makes a lot of sense. So
no, and it started to make sense. And for me, when obviously we have the logo, we have t-shirts, and then I don't know if you had the same reaction when I started seeing people wearing the shirt with the logo, actually paying for it. I was like, buy that shit. I was like, oh shit. And it's such a, I'm sure you've been there where it's like you start seeing your brand being recognized because people can associate themselves with them. They associate themselves with you
and being directly proud to wear it.
Yes.
So I was, we just expanded my Fort Lauderdale location. I was in the sauna and a member came in and she sat down and she literally says to me, she goes, I feel my best when I'm wearing your clothes. I love it. And it was like, it was like a damn near cry moment. It was so cool to just hear somebody say they're so proud to wear your logo, and that's a testament to everything that we're trying to build. Yeah.
And by the way, it's funny because I have I'm kind of touched on this where everyone can eat, and I try to be very kumbaya with the entire industry. And a lot of people don't see themselves that way. So people, I swear to you, people, because your no days off, your shirts are very popular. Even our trainers wear because they love the whole people.
Yeah.
And I have had people tell me, do you mind they're not wearing Elev8tion? I don't give a fuck. They're rocking that. It's fly gear.
So let me tell you a little backstory on that. So when I first started doing apparel, I only put the Pitbull and No Days Off on my apparel. I never put Legacy or at the time it was Legacy Fit on my apparel. And I got a lot of pushback from my own employees. Why aren't you putting Legacy on there? My thought process was, it was right around CrossFit when CrossFit was getting super popular. But what I noticed is all the CrossFit boxes were fighting with each other, basically. Oh, you don't train at this CrossFit box and you don't do this. So I saw that division starting to happen.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to create is I wanted to create a brand that goes beyond the gym. That's not only identifiable in a one location, but that they're living a movement, a motto that they can do it in Elev8tion. They can do it at F45. They can do it wherever they are. So that's what opened the door to the beverages.
Yeah.
The beverages are an extension of the motto, the movement, not a brick and mortar building. It can go beyond that. And so when you say that, that's exactly what I guess I'm tooting my own horn, but that's
good.
That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted people in your gym wearing my stuff, not because I want you to be like, oh damn, Legacy people are there. No, because guess what? They're at your gym working out, but they're living that no days off lifestyle. Yeah. And no days off, you can see it on here, is like no days off isn't even about working out. Yeah. And that took me like a decade to get it through people's skulls. Yes. You should have saw the amount of hate, like DMs and comments on how no days off. You have to have a rest day. You have to have a rest day. You have to take care. You have to stretch. You have to all this shit. And I was like, that's not what I'm talking about. So no days off is never taking a day off on you. It's a commitment to becoming your best self. And that literally can be, you can be laying on the beach and reading a book, and that's part of no days off. Yeah. But it means the world to me for you to say that you have people, because I'm the same way. Like when people come here, we of course bust people's balls a little bit if they're wearing like, Barry shirt or something like that. We bust their balls a little bit. But for the most part, I actually love it. I love the fact that somebody's coming here with an Equinox shirt on or whatever, because it just shows you that like you can do this fitness life anywhere. You can, and also we live in this new like gym pass, class pass, this kind of world now where people want to go to different places and experience different things. They want to see what's up with it. We've been there recently. We've had people like kind of like go on this on a year on, year off kind of thing. Yeah. And I think that's another testament, the fact we've been around so long. They can be a member for us for a year.
Take a break.
Go take a break. Go do Elev8tion for a year. Then come back. Then do like, you know what I mean? But there's so many people, man. It's like we can, to your point, we can all eat. There's plenty of people. We're not for everyone. No, you're not. Even me and you, we're not for everyone. Like I'm a lot. So you know what I mean? Like, I know my intensity, the way I am, is not for everybody. I'm surprised my wife still, but it's like, but I think that when you just know there's something about it, like, like, and you've traveled and been to all the gym, and that's how we come up with our ideas and stuff.
100%.
When you walk into places, and I'm sure you do this, like one of the things that I do all the time is I walk into a place and I immediately, it's probably a fault, but you start to kind of pick it apart.
I do that
you start to like say like, oh, I would have done it this way. I would have done that, and it's fun.
It's in our DNA.
Exactly. You can't help it. You can't help it. I'm sure you did it when you were downstairs. Like, oh, no, I wouldn't have done that, but it's just part of it. And I haven't been to your gym, so I need to definitely stop by, but that's something I want to do.
No, it's funny because I'm literally about to say that. So we travel. I go to different gyms. I'm a meathead, so and then obviously with bodybuilding and competing, you have we have like the IFBB, NPC, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's amongst all the gyms. So these organizations, I also go to different events at other gyms, and excuse me, when I step into these places, it's like I said, it's in our DNA. I go in there and I forgot what gym I went to recently, and I go in there, I'm like, oh shit, man. Europe. Was it Europe? Fuck, man. I was like,
Europe?
No. I went to the one in New York. I was in New York and I went to this one gym and it has a name behind it. And I was so upset. I went there for chest and triceps. That's bodybuilding shit,
The classic chest and tris.
And I'm like,
are you doing back and bias today?
There you go. And I'm going up and down these stairs. I'm like, why are these machines downstairs? They should be upstairs. Keep lower body downstairs. Do this. And I'm like, I'm getting frustrated with my workout. And then I left and immediately started thinking, fuck, man. I started looking at LoopNet, looking at the real estate around here, what other gyms are there.
I love it.
I'm like, oh, fuck. But with that said, it's something that I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It just makes us better at what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to me, you have to be open to acknowledging the fact that somebody might be doing it better than you. 100%. Somebody might have created something that could add value to what you're doing. Like the constant growing and learning has to be something that
Yes.
if you own a business, you can't stay the same. Like, and that's, again, it goes back to like becoming your best self. That applies to you personally. It applies to your business. It applies to those around you. It's like, it was interesting. I was just talking to my wife about this. If you really, do you have kids?
No.
Okay.
Well, stepkids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've really kind of just noticed lately is like my newborn son to my 2-year-old son to my 4-year-old son, it's literally like 3 different people. You know what I mean? Like he's evolving, he's changing. Same with us.
Yes.
Like your 19-year-old self is not who you are today.
Not at all.
Like, and so I think that there's beauty in that.
Yeah.
And then what I mean by that too is like my gym, and this is going to happen to you too.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but every single gym I do, I want to outdo the one previous.
Absolutely.
I need to write down, hey, you know what? The restrooms were a little too small in this one.
Yeah.
The cold plunge was a little too small in this. I need to do this. We were lacking this in this area. You know, we needed to do, the lighting needs to change here. The music, it needs to do this. Like every facility you do should be better than the last facility.
You want to know something? Ezekiel downstairs.
Yeah.
He gave me a tour. Amazing fucking guy, by the way. Gave me a tour, showed me the locker rooms, walked me to the sauna, and you guys have a co-ed. I noticed that women's, men's, you know, as you were talking, my mind is like, oh shit, because I'm building a gym in Midtown.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, the architect's gonna hate me out. This is fucking great. Having a co-ed, having one door here. How easy accessible is this to your notion? It's like you're constantly evolving. You want to make each location better. And you know, for me, this experience, even being here with you, with the experience of every single location that you build, it's almost you have to one up yourself.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. And it's funny too, because it's to the your members almost like can't stand it though, because they're always like seeing every new gym getting better and better. They're like, what about us? And so you gotta, but what I've done recently is I've gone back and I've tried to like enhance the existing gym. So then you learn from that. You're like, okay, well, what could I do to a gym that's been open for 7 years?
Yeah.
How can I freshen it up? And it could be as simple as like fresh paint.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like little stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the truth is members care. Like they really care about that. What would be like, let's talk a little bit about like the pain points as gym owners. So like, as I love, like just to have another gym owner is kind of cool to talk to. So what would be, and I'm sure, you know, it's more than one. So like your day to day, what do you find is kind of like, like, you know, like it drives you nuts?
Oddly enough, on both sides of the spectrum, it's probably the best thing. It's the reason why we exist. Mm-hmm. But it's also the reason that my biggest headaches, the people.
I knew by the way, I already knew you were going to say that, but
it's insane. I'm sure you'll relate to this, because it's like you have to, you know, I've put myself now in a position where I have a great team at each location. I have a general manager at each location, and then I also have my right hand. And she not only oversees the gyms, she's my sound box. She's adapted my culture. We both are very similar in a sense. And as much as I don't want to be involved with handling the day-to-day, I have to still be involved with delicate situations where I know that no one else is going to handle it the way I'm going to, you know, and it could be from a lawsuit. It could be from a problem with trainers. It could be a problem with members and trainers, members and members. And it's something that's probably one of my biggest griefs, one of the biggest problems that I have. Like, I wish I could just eliminate that side, but it comes with the territory, right? You know, it's because I want to have a good day every day, right? You know, but I walk in today and it's like, holy shit, Angel, here's a subpoena because this is going on, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, and my role is to put out fires. You know, that's literally all I do almost every single day, or is teaching my team how to do it, and then overseeing, making sure that they're doing it correctly. Right. So I would say that's probably one of the things that I wish I did take home with me, because I can't let go. You know, I'm at home thinking about it. All right, how am I going to approach the situation? How am I going to do this? But as I've grown in numbers, in members, in gyms, you know, there's that infamous, you know, more money, more problems, and it's I've learned to accept it, but I've also I wish I wish someone else could deal with these fucking problems. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much. I would say that's probably the essence of the peak of my problems.
Right. People in general. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not really managing businesses. We're managing people.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we're relying on them to run something that they'll never feel the way about it that you feel about it.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
No matter how awesome they are, no matter how dedicated they are, no matter how much you pay them.
Yes.
They're never going to see it
No.
the way we see it.
No.
Ever.
You know,
Like-
I recently I had recently someone on my team leave because they felt they were treated incorrectly by a member. And I explained to them, you know, if the person was disrespectful, we address it as so. You know, if they disrespect you, we'll address it. You know, they get kicked out. However, I'm like, we have to also be very careful because we are in the customer service. We are here to serve
them.
people. So you can't take anything personal. And this particular person is a very, you know, very wealthy, you know, and they come in. They first of all, you don't know what that person is going through on their day to day.
Right.
So they come in and they don't say hi to you, or they don't check in. You have to remind them, take it with a grain of salt, check them in yourself, do what you got to do because you don't know what the fuck it is that they're going through.
Exactly.
So, and again, you are the person serving them. That's one thing I have to get through their head. I tell them, I eat shit every day, and that's what we're here to do with a smile on our face. So this person decided to quit, and I'm like, listen, you understand that once you leave out of here, like you're gonna get a million more of these guys, and if you don't know how to deal with it today, you're never gonna learn how to deal with this. You know, you're gonna come across the same situation in another area, and if you want to build your own business, you want to do something on your own. This is not the route. Learn how to handle this. Learn how to handle this person. Put them in your pocket. You know, grab them by the. You know, just get them on your side and approach it differently. But you know, and I took my time to talk because I like the kid. But at the end of the day, it's like you have all these different personalities.
That's actually a first, I think, and that surprised me because I've been doing this for 20 something years. So I just want to hear you. You had a staff member quit because of a member.
Correct.
I don't think I've ever.
It's usually the other way around. Yes, yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever heard that before.
No, yeah.
Wow.
And for me, it's like, you know,
that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's like I want, obviously, you know, you can't have the best people. I try to make the best out of everyone that's on my team, even for myself, you know. Yeah. But you can't control their emotions. You can't control how they view life. But I can only kind of guide them and give them, you know, as far as my experience, you know, and tell them how I got to where I am or where I'm going. You know, I told them my vision is over there. I can't even see myself, but these are the steps that I have to take to get there.
Right.
And in that route, I'm not fucking anyone over. I have integrity, work ethic, the whole line. But I'm not gonna take shit personal. I've been, yo, Angel, fuck you, blah blah blah. Cool. All right. I don't care.
Well, you can't. In our position, you cannot operate off of emotions and feelings.
Correct.
And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of our staff do, is they literally operate off their emotions and feelings. So what do I mean by that? If they wake up and they're tired, then they hit the snooze and they go back to sleep. No, like you can't say I'm tired.
Yeah.
You have to say I have to do it anyways, because that's what you committed to do. Yeah. I'm in a bad mood. Like, I love it when people say that, I'm in a bad mood. No, you made a choice to be in a bad mood. Yeah. You can change that by how you say, what you say to yourself, literally. You can be like, I'm happy today. Like, you just, you know, we become the things we tell ourselves. So one of the reasons why I know for a fact you're in a position that you are today is because you're not operating. Because to your point, if you're putting out fires all day long, that's not fun. No. Like, you're not like being like, this is great day today, but you know it has to be done.
Yes, it has to.
Because, and then I heard you say this that resonated really well. You've seen where you're going, not where you are.
Correct.
And so when you have a vision that's bigger than where you are, you know that there's certain steps that you have to do every single day in order to arrive where you see yourself, not where anybody else sees you, not where your staff sees you, your members see you, like, because they might be cool with oh man, you got 5 gyms. That's great, man. Good job. Clapping, but no, you see yourself with 20 gyms. You see yourself with whatever it is, by the way. But you know what I mean? So that today I have to check all these boxes, regardless of how I feel, regardless of the emotions that hit me, and I'm doing it anyways. And I think the magic of that, if we can get our staff to feel that way, if we can get our staff to operate that way,
sky's the limit, bro.
Sky's the limit, man. Like, and that's why I have like leadership meetings and staff meetings, all this stuff, is because ultimately that's the goal. The goal is to have your whole culture really believing in your vision, like where you're trying to and show them like, look, if you just do these things, then you can accomplish this with me. Like, let's all get on the train and let's all take this ride together. But that's the hardest part.
I'm gonna, because I'm hearing you and I'm learning more about you in this, this sit down here, and it's crazy because I relate a lot. Prior to this, I've never nothing. We never discussed anything.
Audience, we've been in Miami. How long have you been here?
10 years.
Okay, so I've been here 22 years. But regardless, we've both had gyms for over a decade.
A few blocks away.
And I said this to you downstairs, and I'll say it so everybody can hear it. So one of the things that I do purposely is I tend to not follow other gyms on social media, follow other gym owners, because I'm very good at seeing something and then applying it.
Right.
But I'm also a creative, and I don't like stealing stuff. I don't like seeing something and then implementing it. I like creating stuff. So I purposely don't follow. But obviously, Explorer page, this member, that member, you still somewhat see what's going on. Even talking. Like, for example, I have staff that goes to Elev8tion and gets a workout in, which is fine.
And I'm sure I have members that come here.
Exactly.
1,000,000%.
No, there's no doubt that we're sharing members. We're sharing staff. I'm saying, getting their pump in or whatever. And so I don't even know what was the point of that. But
no. I'll tell you.
I think my point was just to say that I've admired you also and the fact that we've been doing the same thing for over a decade just shows that we should be in the room together. So anyway.
I don't know
if that made sense.
Yeah, no, it does. What I'm going to add to that is that, so I've heard, people talk. People always talk. And I've heard amazing things about you.
I'm sure you heard some crazy things too.
I've heard some crazy shit about you.
We got to talk about that. I want to hear the crazy stuff.
So and I don't know exactly, but I remember just people just feeling a certain way. Oh, Manning this, Manning that. And I've also heard, yo, man, no, he's fucking like amazing, such a great fucking guy. But I'm like, I would never, ever judge anyone, because I know that for a fact, as much as I try to help people, as much as I try to be the best that I can, there are people right now, yo, fuck Angel. I'm like, oh shit, okay,
right.
But it's only because I stand for what I believe in.
Yep.
And I think you are you're probably exactly the same, where, you run your business the way you want to. There's certain rules that why you implemented them.
Yep.
And if they're not followed, or someone doesn't follow my rules, then go kick rocks. Right. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to bend the rule for you, and yet for this one, no, it has to be fucking fair. So the whole point is like, I was excited to meet you.
I want to say this too, and I'm curious about this. So when I hear you say that, one of the things that stands out to me is, I wish, and I hope in the future, I wish people could really see our hearts and how much we love people. Like I'm such a lover of people. Everything that I'm doing is trying to make these people better.
Yeah.
And yes, that means, see, there's this disconnect that being hard on people is like mean or not loving them.
Yeah.
Actually, to me, it's the opposite. And I look at my dad. Like, my dad was on my ass. I was just gonna white on right. Yeah. He woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, put me in front of his car, made me run, lift weights at barely. You know what I mean? Like, made us do chores, all this stuff. He's my best friend. I love that man. He's made me who I am today.
Yeah.
If these 20-year-old kids, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, whatever it is, that we're nurturing, we're pouring into, if they could just know that we're just trying to make them better. So me holding you accountable, you showing up late and me getting on your ass and being like, I'm not going to put up with that.
Yeah.
How you treat our members, cleaning, all these things that we're required to do. It's out of love. It's
Yes.
out of, we're trying to make you a better person
Yes.
so that you can make more money. That's another thing too, right?
I love it.
Like,
I love it. Yeah.
If I'm holding you accountable at a higher standard,
Yeah.
you're going to make more money.
Yes.
So why are you getting upset at my tone or the look I give you? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I get that all the time. Like, you know, I don't like the way you're talking to me. Like, first of all, I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
I'm paying the bills.
Yes.
I'm going to say it direct.
Yes.
And I will say this, I've gotten a lot better. I was a freaking maniac in the beginning, younger, you know, had more on my plate or whatever. So I've changed a little bit, and I'm growing as a human being, and I'm getting a little bit better with my delivery and my tone. And I think there is some truth to that.
Yeah.
But if they could only see the heart and like where it's coming from, I think there might be a different perspective when they're out there going, you know, talking shit or whatever it is. You know,
the thing is that people don't know, like you said, people don't know what's our day to day. They have no fucking idea.
No clue. They also don't understand the overhead, the
responsibilities,
bills, the responsibility. They have no clue, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like that's fine. They shouldn't.
You know, I've you know, I have my, I don't want to say my temper or whatever. But for example, I'm super sweet, super kind. Hey, do me a favor when you do this. Just make sure this gets done. Cool, whatever. I see it doesn't get done. I'll let a few days pass by and a week pass by. I'm working on it. Hey, listen, do me a favor. I told you this last week. Make sure this gets done because yada yada yada.
Right.
Cool, whatever. Yo, another week passes by and I see you. My delivery. You're not gonna like it, and, then I'm the asshole.
Of course. Even though it's the fourth time you've said it.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, bro, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm talking to a fucking child, you know, and it's one of those things to you know, my experience. My parents, my mom actually was the one, the heavy handed, you know, little 4'9", 4'11", whatever, however tall she is, you know, but she was the one that laid the law. And I can, you know, not until probably my mid 20s that I realized, you know, I appreciate you so fucking much for the way you handled me, because I could have been the you know, and obviously I take a different approach. I don't have any kids necessarily, but I have my team. Yeah. And I don't want to say they're my children, but I'm their leader and I want them to learn how to lead. Yep. So I'm implementing these rules in this way of being, because like you said, it's not for, yes, the facility benefits. This is for your own fucking benefit. You're only going to get better at what you do and who you are as a person. You take this, you go somewhere else, you become more valuable as a human being.
Exactly. And everywhere you go, and then that is a byproduct of how you treat your family, how you rate. Yeah. And the thing that I don't understand about, like, have you ever like really examined? We're in the fitness industry. We get to wear sweats, shorts, tank tops. Our hours are basically what we make it. Like, if they only knew what like a 9-to-5 cubicle job is like, or going to work for, you know, no offense, but like AT&T, yes, you know, something like that. Like, what we do can be so gratifying, like, because we're in the service industry, but we're impacting lives every single day. Every single day, we see people more than they see their doctors, their dentists, their lawyers, sometimes their family. There's people, especially in your bodybuilding world, there's people that spend 4 hours in the gym. So they're there more often. And what we can do for those people, and that's what I'm trying to get my staff to understand, is like the impact you can have is so strong. So that's why we're going to set the highest of standards, because every single person that walks in here should feel better when they walk out, period. End of story. If they're not walking out feeling better, then we're doing the wrong thing. You know, you were talking earlier about, you know, the whole kids thing, like, you know, your staff and stuff. And so for me, I've always told my staff that we're not quite a family, because to your point, if you're family, then they can get away with a lot more shit. And it's too like lovey-dovey. And then if you go the other route and you say we're a team, and a lot of companies, you know, we're a team and all that, it can be a little bit too cutthroat. Because there's no such thing as winning in business. Business is an infinite game. Like, you're always going to keep, like, you always got to show up in business. Like, even if you do have wins, well, guess what? You got to keep going the next time.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday's win. So I came up with this thing like teamily. I'm sure I didn't come up with it, but that's the word I came up with, is because you kind of have to find that balance between loving on them and then also holding them accountable, treating them sometimes like we're going to win the championship, and then sometimes, you know, taking a step back and maybe listening to them and what they're going through and all that. But there's got to be that balance. So,
well, that's also, I'm assuming that's where you're probably your sports background and
playing football. That was, you know, playing football. That's where I got a lot of the way I used to be a boss. Instead of a leader.
Right.
Because my coaches, all they did was cuss us out. Like literally. Like every word was a cuss word. We did nothing right. Like it was like the real deal. Like, you're gonna do it this way and you're gonna do it my way and no way. And so when I first owned a business, that was how I was. I was like, you're going to do it my way. You're not going to do it any other way. And then I realized, like, I'm not going to have anybody to work for me if I keep this up. So
if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 46.
Get the fuck out of here. You look so much younger.
Oh, thank you.
Shit.
Well, I'm trying to. You know, I got to keep up with these young bucks. How old are you?
I'm 40.
Okay. Yeah. So, we're not spring chickens anymore.
No.
But and it's crazy, right? This, you probably get this too, is you know, you have these 23, 24-year-old guys or whatever that work for you, and you're like, man, I could still take them. You know, it's like I could still take them.
Holy shit, yes, like, wow. Absolutely.
Like the work ethic is
it's on the floor. I
not
think
the same.
You know, it's out of it's crazy because when I review resumes, I look, it sounds fucked up, but I look for people for the Northeast or somewhere other parts of the United States. So Boston, Jersey, New York. And for the most part, I guess I intentionally do it. I do hire people from everywhere else. And it's the people that people from Miami, at least the statistics that I've been around, the people that I've been around, they haven't delivered. The people that I've hired, it's like, you know, for example, if you're going to manage a gym, first of all, if you're going to manage a gym, yes, it's quote unquote a 9 to 5. You are serving as an owner. You're acting as an owner of that facility. So if the gym is not open, if that is your responsibility. That's not the owner's responsibility. You are the general fucking manager.
Right.
You know, and it doesn't, sometimes when I say I have had managers were like, oh, I take today off. Listen, yes, you can take your days off, but you have to know, you have to be aware of the facility, because if I'm the one doing your job, then this is not this. That's
I just had an employee quit because he knew he was getting fired, so he actually quit before I could fire him. But I was texting him on his day off, and he wasn't responding to me, and then he didn't acknowledge it. And then he literally said, I don't have to respond to you on my day off.
You don't have to work here.
Then
sorry.
It's like, can you imagine?
No, I can't.
I'm like, the guy that writes your paycheck, you're going to tell him that I don't have to talk to you on my day off.
Bugging.
Like, bro, that's insane. But this is what we deal with on a constant basis. And, you know, and again, you said this earlier, and I want to emphasize, we have phenomenal people that work for us. I love everyone that works for me. I absolutely, and even that guy, I loved him, did things for him that no owner would do. Yeah. And I've been that way my whole, you know, like, I mean, you know, I can go into a lot of details, but you know what the little things that we do.
I know, believe me.
You know, whether it's putting a little extra on their paycheck or buying them this or setting them up for this, like, you know, that's who we are.
Absolutely.
We're giver. You can't be in this game for over a decade if you're not a giver. Yeah. You can't, because if you're a taker, people will figure it out.
Absolutely.
And you know, you won't be doing this for
you know, it's almost, I apply it to my personal life where, you know, you give, I don't expect shit back. I do it because this is who I am, you know? So I think this is what needs to get done. You know, I had an incident where, and I'm not sure, you know, this guy, he got hurt. I didn't have to pay him. I kept him on payroll. He got hurt. He's in the hospital, you know, and he was probably worried that he was going to lose his job. Right. Like, don't fucking worry about it. Take care of yourself. We'll hold it down. Come back when you're ready, you know? And that's, because essentially that's, you know, I hope that they do that for me when I was in that position, you know? Right. And I've also been in a position where I've been treated like shit. I've been treated like, I'm like, I don't want them to have that experience, you know, working for me, working for the company. If anything, I want to build great people. I want to give them as much as I could to flourish, not only with us, but outside, even in their personal lives.
Right.
So hence today, you know, and it took me about 7 years to really have I have an amazing team, and I hope they understand. I just got yesterday, someone just wrote to me, I posted on my story, where they acknowledged my team. Like that shit got me like I was like, you know, got me all teary eyed and shit. I'm like, sure. So I sent them separate messages. I'm like, this is like, I just need you, like, how much I appreciate you guys for this, you know. And I got your back. Like I got 110% your back when that's due. But a lot of the times, you know, people, they take, I don't know, it's tough to be in our position. It's really tough because we're constantly not only evolving ourselves, but trying to help others evolve as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it starts with us, right?
Yes.
Because if they don't see us evolving, then they're not going to listen to us, and they're not going to grow themselves.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell everybody is like, you have to be an example of what growth looks like. And if you remain the same, no one's going to pay attention to and you know, if you're trying to get them to grow and you're over there, you know, doing the same shit and making the same mistakes, and then they're going to be like, you know, well, I'm not following that guy. So, you know,
I want to, one little story. I bought this gym in North Miami. It's called US1 Fitness. And,
that gym was there for forever. And you bought that one?
So yeah,
nice.
they opened up the, Publix redesigned the plaza. They had a standalone building. And I remember when they built this gym, this place, driving by it, I used to always look at it. I'm like, oh, that's such a great fucking place for a gym. Because I went in there,
great location,
and I'm like, fuck, you know. Yeah. So fast forward, the world, the universe put it there. I purchased a gym. They wanted to retire. Great owners. They had an employee there, Brenda. She was there for about 8 years. And her story was, you know, she worked in a hotel. She was there for 8 years, and she just wanted to better herself, you know, and she always wanted this management position. They finally gave it to her, like, I think 2 years prior to themselves. So when I got the gym, I think she had one foot out the door, because she didn't know who Elev8tion, I was. Right. And, but I'm glad she did it. So when I got it, she, you know, I knew that she wanted more, because she kept on asking a lot of questions, and I kept on looking at the way she was. She would be there on her days off. She would clean. She over delivered. So I said, okay, I'm gonna kind of showcase who I am, how I run things, and she applied it. So she took that North Miami location after I completely redid the entire gym. She got it to where it's at.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I need you at my downtown location. I eventually took her, brought her to downtown, and I saw how hungry she was. And she was always there. Mind you, mother, 2 kids, married. She has her plate is full.
Yeah.
So she's doing this as well. And I'm like, Brenda, you mind if I give you some additional work? I was fucking testing the waters. Gave her more work. Never bitching, never complaining. Head down, work. I'm like, holy shit. So recently, towards December, I was like, Brenda, I don't have a title for you, but I want to give you a certain position. Whatever this position is, you need to be my right hand, is helping me, assisting me manage all the gyms, do what you did here amongst everyone else, and apply it to the team. Like, you're like, I need you to be me, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, shit, like, I don't know. I'm like, you're kind of already doing it, because I've been, you know, kind of throwing things your way, and I see how you handle it. So she took it, and, you know, and I want to say that I told her, I gave her a significant increase in her salary. And I was like, this is just, again, someone that hasn't been exposed to a certain life. I'm sure you've been around, even ourselves, our lifestyles have changed throughout the years, you know, our economics, the people we see around. So I want to showcase this to them, that they've never been exposed to it. So I told her, this is just a start. And I teach her about business. I teach her as much, like, read this book, you know?
Yep.
So for me, I'm trying to do that with her, and I'm doing it with her, and I'm with a few other ones on my team, where we're in a position that we can alter their lifestyles. But again, yes, people will look at, oh, they're working, people that don't know this, they'll probably are in their ear. You're working for this company, you're doing this, you know, why work so hard?
Right.
And I'm like, bro, yo, just tag along and learn with me.
Yeah.
Like, ask questions.
Yep.
And when I see that, I think I hope Brenda sees this. I'm like, I want the best for her, you know, and I see what she's doing and where she's at. And I told her, I'm like, eventually maybe 20, 30 gyms, yo, you're going to have to take my position or something, or you're being in a different position. And even economically, I want this shit to change your life.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that, that's, I don't know how I got into that fucking tangent.
I mean, what I hear you saying is, and it's what we were touching on earlier is that we need, I mean, that's even a better way to say it. We need our staff to truly understand that we're trying to take them on the bigger journey. Yes. That it's not where they are. Yeah. Like, because once we've seen where we're going, if they just understood that if they'll just do all these little things, they're going to end up still on this ride with us instead of, you know, a 2-year span. And then now they're working at another gym. They're doing this, they're doing that. And so, and because there's something to be said about, even though we're obviously very supportive of this whole gym community, when you do find a home in terms of like staff, and you start to have like a teamily, then the more you can keep that team together, the further you can go.
Correct.
Because you're going to have more continuity. You all understand what you're in it for. You're in it for each other. Yeah. So I love and then we have staff that's been with me for 10 years, 7 years, 8 years. Those kind of people, I mean, it's like, it does get into family a little bit, you know.
It does. It really does. So. Yeah, and it's like you become, you know, I shared personal stories with them, you know, vice versa. Yeah, and it gets to the point where, you know, we become a soundboard. Sometimes therapy sessions.
Well, if you're a personal trainer, you know you're a life coach. So it's exactly. Definitely more than just PT.
No, and you said it earlier. Like we're constantly changing lives. When people tell me, listen, Angel, some guy from Boston is like, Angel, you don't understand. I'm I'm almost 52 years old. I'm from Boston. This gym changed my fucking life. I was like, bro, you don't understand how much that shit means to me.
That is, we say it all the time. I have my staff all the time telling me that people say that, DM them or whatever. Yeah. That is why we do what we do. Yes. That's exactly why we do. It's not the money. It's not, it's not fame or anything like that. It's literally that we're changing lives. Yeah. Because there's nothing greater. There's nothing greater to hear that. Like,
and in turn, like you mentioned money, like I tell people, not that I don't care about money, but I know as long as we're doing what we're doing, the money's gonna come.
The money's gonna come.
The money will come. I tell people, just fucking head down, just do your fucking thing. Don't seek recognition. Don't chase the dollar. You know, eventually that's just gonna chase you. And I'm in a position where a little bit of luck, I would say, you know, and I think a lot has to do with how I've conducted myself throughout the years to your, you know, how you were a certain personal, you know, you were a certain personality years ago from football, and then you've developed and you've bettered yourself. I've had my own wrongdoings. I've had wrongdoings in my 20s, and I've told myself I can't work that way, and hence, you know, what's happened is I've been able to attract all the right people and all the right opportunities. Right. Where before I was just fucking trying to, you know, whatever. But in turn, I feel like I've put myself in a position where I'm going in the right direction, and if I could, I'm gonna bring people along with me, you know. But you know,
you go further when you got people paddling the boat with you. So
absolutely,
you know, you can't do it on your own.
No, not at all.
And I know we both probably certainly tried that early on. Yeah. You try to do everything yourself, and it doesn't work like that.
No,
it can last a certain amount of time, but not where we're at today. Like you need help. Yeah. You need a teamily, you know, all that stuff.
So I want to flip the question on you. Yeah. So you have 6 gyms.
6 with 2 in the 3 in the pipeline.
3 in the pipeline. Yeah. What's your are they franchises or are they?
No. So what happened with me is I franchised in 2015. And so I had 3 franchises at that time. I had Dubai, Doral, and South Carolina. And then fast forward COVID, and COVID wiped out Dubai and South Carolina. Fortunately, all 6 of our gyms here in Miami, at the time of COVID, they closed us down with 3, and we opened up with 6. It was a crazy time. And so the only franchise I have now is Doral. Shout out Swan and Denise. They do a great job. But I felt like COVID really opened my eyes to really kind of narrowing down where I want to take this.
Yeah.
And so for me, if you're in the franchise world, the only way to really be successful in the franchise world is thousands of locations, you know, like, and that just, the idea of that, especially some of the headaches I had with Dubai and South Carolina, just did not sound like the brand that I wanted. Another thing is that I thought my brand was going to be closer to, say, your F45, your Berries, and your Orange Theories. So at the time, so 2018, that was really the direction I was going to take. I was thinking about that kind of style gym, more of a satellite location,
Plug
classes only, smaller, you know, whatever. Again, I hate to bring up 2020, but it was an eye-opening moment for me that I really felt like we were moving away from those kind of gyms. Not that they're not going to still be around, but that community is literally the number one thing people need. What I saw in 2020 is that when churches were taken away, when gyms were taken away, when restaurants were taken away, there was isolation, you know, depression, suicide. Like, it was amazing to see what happened to our world. Yeah. And so I felt almost a responsibility that community was the number one thing. So how do you get community? Well, you need the space to be able to service those people. So it can't just be a quick in and out class where somebody's showing up
square foot little
and running out the door and then coming back. You can't build community like that. And so, and then the second thing was amenities. Was I felt like the world was going more to wellness, not just working out. So not just weights and whatever, but ice, you know, cold plunging, sauna, physical therapy, IVs. Like, I could really see that there was a heightened sense of awareness of wellness that was happening in the world because of COVID. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing full service gyms. But then my take, and again, forgive me, I've never been in one of your locations, so I don't know if this is a knock on your location, so forgive me if it is, but but I'm not trying to, obviously.
Even if it
You're
is,
standing right here. When I much like you, when I traveled the world, and literally I was training like a lot of celebrities, and it was when celebrity trainer was actually a thing, you know. Now it's not, but
I was a celebrity.
So I was, you know, training Usher and Rico Love and Scott Stapp and all these musicians and stuff, and I was going to all these different cities. And every single city I went into, every single gym I went into felt exactly the same. I would walk in, there would be at the front desk, then you had your offices on the right, you had a cardio section, a free weight section, and a machine section, right? And then you had your aerobics room tucked in the corner in a glass box. Yeah. And every single time I go, I would notice how when the class started in that aerobics room, that there was like, it was packed, wall to wall, music blasting, and that group exercise girl was like, you know, like getting it, you know, and everybody and all. But then so you had these 15,000 square foot gyms. The aerobics room was 500 square feet, and that's where all the energy was. Yeah. So I walked away from that, and I come from a college football background where when you walk into a college football room, you know, chalk's flying, shirts are off, softball teams on the left, football teams on the right, basketball team, the music's blasting, you know, like you walk in and it's like hype as soon as you walk in. So I was like, I wanted to merge a commercial gym with kind of my college football experience. And so one of the things I thought of is, what if the group exercise room is the focal point of the gym instead of the afterthought, instead of sticking it in an aerobics room? Right. What if it's in the middle of the freaking gym and that's the energy that everybody feeds off of? Now, that's why we're different, by the way, too, is because to your crowd, they're kind of annoyed by that because they want their headphones on, they're doing their bodybuilding work, they're not going to want, you know, a bunch of, but for my crowd that I've kind of developed, they love that. And so we kind of discourage people walking around with headphones on. If you notice, there's like not a lot of TVs. You know, I don't want people like walking on treadmills, looking at TVs. I wanted to create environment of movement and energy, and where like, you know, when you walk in the door, it's time to work. You know, it's time to work. And I do think you're doing it like for a different kind of bodybuilding community.
Very similar.
We're similar,
though. I think we're similar.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have an aerobics room, right?
I'll tell you that story.
Okay, I want to hear that.
So I'm hearing you, and I'm like, holy shit. So we're similar. We're parallel. Just two different sides of the industry. You know, when COVID happened, I realized exactly what you just said. But what happened to me was that we used to run some small classes, but after COVID, our classes just died. So what I did is I actually eliminated all classes. And what I did was I had a high demand for equipment. Now, a little background on myself. When I build gyms, I don't necessarily just like when I go into other gyms, I also like, fuck man, this gym needs this gym needs. We were just talking about the equipment as far as how gyms are built.
Yeah.
I'm a geek. I'm a fucking geek. I travel to corners of the world to visit the manufacturers of gym equipment. I'm very close with the founders, with the creators behind the biomechanics of these machines.
Love it.
You know, so even today you have a lot of these equipment being manufactured in China, which I have my biggest pet peeve, one of my biggest pet peeve, because I've been pitched these machines. Unfortunately, not even for free do I want this. So when building out my gyms, there's a sense of when it comes to a training background, there's biomechanically, there's also a push, pull. Like like I come with a personal training background, and also as a personal trainer. So how can I train my client if I have maybe 2 clients? And then as a member, I'm like, shit, I remember this gym over here in Dallas had this machine. Let me figure this out, because this machine hits this. So I start packaging every single elevation the way I would think it's best for the user and for a trainer. So now as you're walking into the facility, if you are a gym head, you've been working out for how many years, you may find some pieces. Holy shit, I remember this piece when my first gym that I went to, but it's been upgraded, it's paid, it's a nostalgic piece.
Yeah.
And I don't go for the gimmicky machines, So as I'm building out these facilities, it's a sense of nostalgia. It's also a sense of modern. But now where the community comes in is every single elevation I have. When you walk in, I have an eating area. So when I first started building this out, I got a lot of shit. Angel, you can't have food on the gym floor, the fucking smell, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, one of the parts of not only bodybuilding, because I think everyone here in the gym is a bodybuilder, whether they compete or not, they're bettering their physique. They're trying to better their lifestyle.
Right.
It revolves around nutrition. So every gym I have a public refrigerator, I have a microwave, utensils. I sell like sparkling water, Coke Zeros. So you guys have Modelos, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah, we have our beer and wine license.
I love it. I was like, holy shit. So then I'm like, and when I saw that, I'm like, I thought immediately, holy shit, this is a hangout spot. People want to hang out.
Yes.
And when I did that, not knowing what would happen, is that when you do food and you put good music, good vibes, people just want to hang. And what do? People hang, they're drinking their shit, they grab their phone. Yo, I'm over here. Exactly. And it's like I wasn't doing it with the intention of the social media or the people, but organically, people just wanted to be around it. So now every single time I go into an area, a new city or area, I'm like, all right, I have to build. Obviously, I have my Elev8tion Fitness concept. The brand already is resonating. People from Miami went to Boca when I opened up the new Boca location a couple of months ago. Like, it was already a vibe before we even opened our doors.
Right.
So
because they kind of knew the culture already.
100%. Yeah. And the one thing is that you mentioned it earlier. When you walk into a gym, I want the person greeted. Hey, good morning. Hey, what's going on? You can't just like.
No, I can't stand that.
Don't get me wrong, it happens. And I'm like, bro, if you don't want to be here, let me know.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like we're delivering that experience. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the valet driver or the CEO of XYZ company, everyone gets treated fairly. And at the same, everyone has to abide by the same rules as well. So when you walk into you need to go to one of the gyms.
Yes, for sure.
And it's definitely a place where it's just gym equipment. So when I had gyms with like classrooms, like the one in US 1, half the gym was classes. These are the Zumba, all these other things. I said, fuck this shit. I fucking took everything out. The existing members were so upset. And I'm like, listen, first you guys are paying like $10 a month, and now we charge $90.
Right.
So, but it's a different experience. So we had a lot of these, they were probably in their 70s and 80 years old. There was a different demographic up there. And now it's crazy because you see them in Elev8tion, wearing an Elev8tion shirt, listening to probably Tupac or some other hip hop, and they're there and they love it. And then again, that sense of community. It all starts from the manager, the front desk, the trainers,
and the environment that you gave them.
Yes.
So one thing, people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So you coming from your background of personal training, bodybuilding, and you're setting up a gym that they can actually get results from instead of giving them something that's all. So one of the things I tell people all the time, if you hear this is how it's always been done.
Yeah.
You know, you're not doing something right. So you're changing the game. I'm changing the game. And I actually had a person that was with Crunch for 27 years come here. And she said, and your gym falls in this category. She said, this is going to change the fitness industry, the way you guys are doing your gyms.
Yeah.
Because it's not your Gold's Gym, Equinox, and it's because what they just do the same shit
over and over.
Spinning room, aerobic, it's copy and paste. And there's nothing innovative. And they're not setting people up to change.
No.
They're just giving them, and if anything, they're almost discouraging them, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when you have this like cliquish, I call it cliquish, like, because what happens is you divide your community. You have people that go there that only do cardio. Yeah. You have people that go there that only do the aerobics room. You have people that go there that only do the machines. Instead of the way your gym is set up, it's set up where everyone's using everything. Yeah. And so then what do? You meet people, you talk to them. And then for me, everyone's doing pit. Everyone's doing the spot. You know what I mean? So I love it. I think you're doing, that's excellent.
And even little details. When I set up gyms, cardio, for example, and I'm not giving any secrets away, but like you said, I don't, all corporate gyms, box gyms, you have TVs, cardio's facing the walls, baby. I face all of the cardio to the floor. Because people watch.
Exactly.
So you want to get in, and we have some interesting people to see.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, why not set it up that way? And let me tell you, I've had feedback, Angel, you put TVs. I'm like, this is not who we are. This is not what I'll have TVs, and I'll probably be playing some Elev8tion stuff through it. But I want people to engage with each other. There's some people, don't get me wrong, even me. I work out. I'm in my own world. I have my headphones on. Don't fucking bother me. I'm looking down, but the environment, it's a community, it's like, shit, you're looking good, bro.
People need that.
Yeah, you have to have that.
And there's such a camaraderie of, I have a saying, effort is sexy.
Yes.
There's something sexy, no matter who you are, what you look like, whatever. Yeah. If you're giving effort around me, I'm attracted. I'm like, that's amazing.
You're a product of your environment.
Yeah. And so it's our job to give them that proper environment where they feel comfortable, where they want to, and then here's the truth is that they might not be comfortable, but guess what? When you get comfortable being uncomfortable is where the change comes. So maybe we might be smarter than you think, and we're putting you in an uncomfortable position so that you can actually get some results.
And I don't want to be negative when I say this. There are some people that will feel intimidated. They'll feel a certain way, and that's not my problem. This is a place where we want to help you. We want you to change. I remember having this one girl apply for the job. She applied. She's a little heavier set girl, super nice. She goes, Angel, I lost 20 pounds to come apply here. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What do you mean you lost 20 pounds? You don't understand. I see the people on Elev8tion. I see the Instagram, and I didn't feel like, first of all, I'm glad we fucking push you to do what you're doing. Yeah. And I hope you get to your goal even faster, and I hired her eventually. But it's interesting how our concept, like I said, it changes lives. It changes the perception of people. It pushes people to better themselves. And that's all I want. Yep. Honestly, that's all I want. I want to push myself. I want to push whoever comes in through the door. And it doesn't matter if they're like I always do that reference, whether they're the valet driver or the CEO of a certain company. We're all here to fucking make moves and make changes.
And everybody matters.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes people diminish their own impact, and every single person matters. Like everybody matters, whether it's the janitor, the valet, the CEO, whoever, we all can make a difference.
No, I love it, man. I love it.